Hi there, everyone. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
As more people across the country are getting vaccinated, there are still those who are hesitant to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm Chris Warner. We'll talk with a couple of local experts and tell you what you need to know about the vaccine.
A series of shootings in the Atlanta area leaves at least 8 people dead. I'm Steve Harrigan in Atlanta. That story ahead.
Doug Eddy is weather. Danny Terzer head sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abby. Get ready for some snow tonight. Meteorologist Doug Eddy joins us now. Yeah, you heard right. Snow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't
it?
I mean, we had severe weather this morning, and then again throughout the evening hours. We were in a tornado watch. We actually had a few tornado warnings. All the severe weather is gone, which is great. But now winter is going to return just a bit. High temp is 60 for us today. Average high is 60. All these big time storms are now rolling across south central parts of Missouri, but we still have a lot of rain. You can see the rain developing again across Cherokee County, Ottawa County, and also into the metro area. But it's on the backside of this system that we have to watch as it rotates in. You can see it trying to switch over to snow just out to our west, and that backside of the storm is going to push in later on tonight. Now our temperatures are going to stay above freezing, which is good, but it could come down at a pretty good clip. So of course we're going to break down this entire forecast for you all coming up here in just a little bit.
Just a big mess, Doug Eddy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just a big mess. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. As states continue to open up COVID-19 vaccine phases, it means more people, of course, are becoming eligible for the vaccine, but some are hesitant to get the vaccine for a number of reasons. KOAM's Chris Warner has more on what facts you need to know.
Kobe Prater, the pharmacist and owner of Prater's Pharmacy in Webb City, says he's ready for Missouri to continue moving forward in its vaccination phases.
In our area, vaccine supply is beginning to outstrip demand. I think that's a good thing because it won't be near as difficult for people to get the vaccine that want to receive the vaccine.
However, he is running into some who aren't so sure about getting the vaccine.
I would say probably 25% are still a little more hesitant, but we always ask if there's any other questions before we vaccinate and make sure that they're completely informed.
Those hesitations have led the Crawford County Recovery Task Force to put out a survey.
We felt like we needed to ask more local questions and understand why people haven't been vaccinated yet. And sometimes it's just that they're not eligible yet and they're not jumping the line. And sometimes it might be that they have questions or concerns, and we wanted to better understand what those are.
We spoke with Dr. Eden Esquera, Mercy's infectious disease specialist, to help clear up some of the concerns regarding the vaccine. She says the most common concern is the vaccine was developed too quickly.
So many people were on the study, and more than usual what it takes to approve a vaccine. And that's the only reason why it was fast, because of the magnitude of this pandemic.
Another concern she's heard is the vaccine impacts fertility. She says that's not true.
First of all, the official recommendation of the OB and GYN group is that you take the vaccine. And that's a very strong statement when they come from these professional groups.
I'm Chris Warner for KOAM News.
To keep up on the latest vaccination phases in your area, just head over to our website at koamnewsnow.com/vaccine. If you're an adult living in Ottawa County, Oklahoma, who's still waiting to receive a COVID-19 vaccine, you're in luck. The Northeastern Tribal Health System has you covered, regardless of whether you're a member of a Native American tribe. KOAM's Mike Mahoney explains.
Multiple Native American tribes in the state of Oklahoma have an excess of COVID-19 vaccine, and they're looking to share with their friends and neighbors. That includes the 8 tribes represented by the Northeastern Tribal Health System in Ottawa County.
We have been doing all of Ottawa County, anyone 18 or over that is wanting to do that. We've also touched base with the local schools, offered it to them. Even a couple schools that weren't in Ottawa County.
These tribes have received extra vaccine from the Indian Health Service because they have been efficient at getting tribe members vaccinated. And they're happy to use them to protect the rest of the county, since that in turn will protect tribe members.
The more of our neighbors we we vaccinate, then it decreases our risk too.
The Northeastern Tribal Health System spent Wednesday helping Downstream Casino vaccinate their employees, and they're reaching out to other county employers to see if they'd like to set up vaccination clinics for their workers. But they say any adult living in the county or anybody of Native American ancestry is welcome to schedule a vaccination appointment at their clinic in Miami, Oklahoma.
As we have the appointments available, the openings available, as we have the vaccine available, we just want to try and get it out there and get it in arms.
In Ottawa County, Oklahoma, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
With today's vaccination clinic at Downstream Casino, the Northeastern Tribal Health System says they've vaccinated around 5,000 people. The World Health Organization is standing by AstraZeneca's vaccine. This despite some countries' concerns over blood clots. The vaccine has still not been approved for use here in the U.S., though. Fox News correspondent David Lee Miller has more.
The World Health Organization recommends countries continue distributing AstraZeneca's vaccine while the group conducts a safety review. More than a dozen countries have suspended use of the formula over concerns it could be linked to reported blood clots. WHO officials say the benefits outweigh the risks.
The main point here is to try and separate out events that are related or potentially related to a vaccine from events that are happening coincident with but not related to the vaccine itself.
Here in the U.S., a growing number of states are expanding vaccine eligibility. Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Ohio will open up vaccinations to the general population this month or next. Some officials hope increasing eligibility will reduce any vaccine hesitancy.
Once you get to that point, almost everybody knows somebody who's been vaccinated, and hopefully that will encourage some of the late arrivals to just do it.
States are racing to vaccinate as COVID-19 variants threaten another surge of infection. The CDC says 2 strains detected in California are now classified as variants of concern. Early research estimates the strains may be about 20% more transmissible. Public health officials say mask wearing and social distancing remain key to stopping the spread.
We must deal with viral variants, which are mutational changes in the virus, which have been a source of discomfort and concern among many nations throughout the world.
The CDC says it still expects the UK variant to be the dominant strain in the US by next month. In New York, David Lee Miller, Fox News.
Learning more about the multiple shooting incident in Atlanta yesterday left at least 8 people dead. Most of the victims were Asian women, but police say it doesn't look like a hate crime at this point. Fox News correspondent Steve Harrigan has more now from Atlanta.
It's the deadliest mass shooting in the U.S. since 2019. At least 8 people killed at 3 massage parlors in the Atlanta area. The first 4 victims were shot and killed in Ackworth, a suburb about 30 miles north of the city. Police then discovered 4 more victims at 2 different parlors in Atlanta, just across the street from each other. Most of the victims were Asian women, leading to early speculation that it may have been a hate crime. But police say the lone suspect, 21-year-old Robert Long, shows signs of sexual addiction, and they believe he's visited the massage parlors in the past as a customer.
Is this a hate crime? We are still early in this investigation, so we cannot make that determination at this moment.
Officials also say they believe Long was planning at least one more mass shooting, and cooperation between multiple law enforcement agencies probably saved lives Tuesday.
The suspect was on his way to Florida, I believe, and perhaps to carry out additional shootings. This could have been significantly worse.
The FBI is now on the scene assisting state and local law enforcement. The president and vice president have also been briefed, and they say all federal resources will be available as the investigation ramps up.
It speaks to a larger issue, which is the issue of violence in our country and what we must do to never tolerate it.
Law enforcement officials say it was the parents of the suspect who alerted police and enabled them to make the capture. In Atlanta, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our 4-state heroes. Tommy Slaughter served in the U.S. Army from 1966 to 71. Native of Pittsburgh, Slaughter was stationed in Vietnam. We are proud to thank and salute Master Sergeant Tommy Slaughter, tonight's 4-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later in sports, a former Nevada basketball standout punching his ticket to to play in the NCAA tournament.
Well, kind of a crazy weather day for us today as temperatures, they were up near 60 degrees, but we had showers, we had thunderstorms during the morning hours. Some of those were severe. And then we did again during the afternoon into the evening hours for us. A great shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see the time lapse of those bands of showers and thunderstorms that have rolled through during the daytime hours for us today. Temperatures quite a bit cooler. If you have not been outside over the past couple hours, it is significantly cooler. It's 39 Yates Center, 41 Independence, Pittsburgh, 42 in Neosho, and these temperatures will continue to drop off during the overnight hours tonight. Plus, it's windy. We had the strong south wind. Now we got the strong northerly winds, and gusts have been higher than that. And this is behind the front. So because a cold front rolled through, that's why our severe threat is gone. But look at the wind gusts, 25, 30, upwards to 35, and it's going to stay very breezy for us tonight. All right, here's the morning batch, showers and thunderstorms. Kind of heat up a little bit, then here comes the afternoon into the evening batch. Most of this was along and south of Interstate 44, but we did get quite a bit of severe weather. Here's our storm report, so you can see tons of hail reports, but most of it was in southwestern Missouri. You can see all the hail through Carl Junction, Webb City, Oronogo. Wind report, a lot more hail and even a couple tornadoes in eastern parts of Berry County. So pretty big severe weather event, especially for March around here. Now we still have very heavy amounts of rain, especially in our northern counties, and then it's been picking up a little bit right across northeastern parts of Oklahoma. So if we zoom into the metro from Neosho to Pittsburgh, Miami to Joplin, you can see these pockets of showers which have been developing. This is going to continue as we go through the rest of the overnight hours. Heaviest rain in our far northern counties, and then if we head out toward the west, you can see a little bit of snow trying to mix in. Yates Center, Fredonia, Neodesha, out toward Eureka, and that's going to be the trend throughout the overnight hours for us tonight as this big storm system advances off toward the east. So let's go through time. Here's midnight. On the Kansas side, we're mixing with or changing over to snow. As we go through the overnight hours, that kind of that mix or that snow advances into southwestern parts of Missouri, but it could really come down at a pretty good clip through the overnight hours. Now, look at our temps. We're above freezing, so it'd have to really come down to cause some issues on the roadways. I don't think we're going to have much issues on the roadways, but we are going to get some accumulation on the grassy surfaces as the backside of this system rolls through. Here's 9 a.m. starting to advance out, but we're going to continue to keep the showers around as we go probably to about the noon hour, and then we'll start to see a few changes starting to work in. All right, snow tonight, again, kind of right along the state line of Kansas and also Missouri. I think it's mainly on the grassy surfaces, but it will most likely accumulate, and some areas could get upwards of 2, maybe even isolated 3-inch amounts. Again, not a huge issue on the roadways, but hey, we're quite a swing from tornado watch to light snow for us tonight. Only 42 tomorrow. Sunshine returns, and we look pretty good heading into the weekend.
Crazy. Again, I can't think of another word. I mean, you were mentioning earlier, you look at the temperature contrast earlier today to now.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty cold out there right now.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you a little bit. Thanks, Tom. Coming up, trying to get a fair trial.
On day 8, a painstaking process trying to find impartial jurors in the Derek Chauvin trial of George Floyd's death. I'm Matt Finn in Minneapolis.
Back to the drawing board on day 8 as the painstaking process of trying to find impartial jurors in the George Floyd murder trial continues. Jury now stands at 8 members after the judge excused 2 people who were previously selected. Fox News correspondent Matt Finn is in Minneapolis to explain why.
The challenging jury selection process in the George Floyd murder trial became more difficult on Wednesday as Judge Peter Cahill unseated 2 of the jurors selected last week.
Is that going to change your position about being fair and impartial in this case?
The judge on Wednesday virtually recalled all 7 jurors selected during the first week to question them about what they learned of the city's $27 million settlement with the Floyd family, announced Friday after they had already been seated.
Do you think now with this new information it would be hard to presume the defendant innocent, would hard to be impartial in this case?
I think it will be hard to be impartial.
Then I'm going to excuse you from this case.
That was juror number 36, a Hispanic man in his 20s. And the other, juror number 20, a white man in his 30s, told the judge the settlement price tag meant the city admitted something went wrong.
So I think that sticker price obviously shocked me and kind of swayed me a little bit.
The judge ordered all selected jurors not to follow the case, but acknowledged it's possible they inadvertently learned about the settlement stemming from Floyd's May 2020 fatal arrest.
I am satisfied that the others could in fact remain impartial.
As attorneys on both sides work to seat 12 jurors and 2 alternatives, the defense argues the jury pool is growing increasingly tainted. On Tuesday, the judge denied the defense's motion to sequester the jury ahead of the trial, but says he's open to it during deliberation. The defense also asked once again for this trial to be relocated, arguing that it's very hard to find impartial jurors here. The judge is considering it and will make his decision soon. In Minneapolis, Matt Finn, Fox News.
Just ahead, could be higher taxes in the near future to pay for infrastructure improvements. The next big effort from the Biden administration, taking care of the nation's ailing roads and bridges. Like COVID relief, an infrastructure package is going to be a costly endeavor, and there are already discussions about how to pay for it, of course. Fox News congressional correspondent Jackie Heinrich looks at how higher taxes seem to be the front runner.
Someone has to pay for President Biden's infrastructure package expected to cost trillions, and Democrats say corporations and the rich ought to foot the bill.
He has proposed that corporations and wealthy individuals should pay more in order to meet the needs of the economy, the spending we need to do.
Bloomberg reports there are discussions around raising the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%, paring back tax preferences for limited liability companies or partnerships, raising the income tax rate for people making more than $400,000 a year, expanding the estate tax, and raising the capital gains tax on millionaires. But Republicans say the middle class will pay the price.
If you look at what the Biden administration is doing now, whether gas prices are up, inflation is up, what's going to do is hurt all the families that are on fixed income, the lower income families.
Leery of tax hikes for businesses and people, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce floated an alternative, calling a modest increase in the gas tax a reasonable way to pay for surface transportation projects. But so far, neither party has signed on. Publicly, Democrats are asking for GOP support, but privately,
you're most likely to have these reconciliations. Yeah, the Republicans will be with you to a point.
What Senator Ben Cardin uttered on a hot mic, Senator Bernie Sanders said without pausing. Democrats intend to pass the bill along party lines. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wasn't as direct.
We must get bold change, and if our Republican friends block it, we're going to put our heads together and figure out the best way to go. Everything's on the table. It's plain and simple.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell confirmed Democrats' suspicions.
The Trojan horse will be called infrastructure. But inside the Trojan horse will be all the tax increases. The only way I think they could pull that off would be through a reconciliation process. And my suspicion is they will try to jam everything they can into that bill.
After both sides acknowledge the elephant in the room, there might be hope yet for bipartisanship. Lawmakers are talking to their home states about which roads, bridges, and ports need improvement, but you can expect a divide on how to fix it, with Democrats pushing for green investments. On Capitol Hill, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
One couple's life together off to a fiery start. Goodness. But there is some good news here. Yes, good news. We're going to share some of that good news when we come back. A Las Vegas bride probably thought she planned for everything for her big day except this. Oh, look at them. This video was shot by a passing driver showing a bridal party hovering on the side of the interstate because their limousine caught fire. Whoa! The bride had reportedly noticed smoke coming from the underneath of the driver's seat. The limo quickly pulled over, allowing everyone to get out, keep a safe distance. VIP Limousines of Nevada says the driver followed proper procedures to ensure the party's safety. Another car arrived to pick up the bridal party, get them to the chapel where the wedding went off without a hitch or any more fires. That, at that point, you just got to turn around and say, that's all in the past. The rest of this day is going to be perfect because I'm marrying you, honey. If he wanted to score some points there with the missus, that's what he should have said, right? Get on her best side. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Joplin residents are kicking off St. Patrick's Day in a pretty big way. I'm Zach Dodge with why this year may feel a little more special. Coming up.
Plus, after a year, people staying home, the travel industry is starting to see a resurgence. St. Patrick's Day looking a little bit different than usual for many amid this pandemic, but a Joplin pub feels like this holiday signifies a return to a time before the pandemic, even with safety guidelines in place. KOAM Zach Dodge has this story.
Good times, beef stew, and lots of Guinness.
We got Guinness on 2 taps. We normally just have it on 1, but we pour a lot of Guinness.
Blackthorn Pizza and Pub started the day at 6 in the morning, filled with good food and drink and live music in the evening.
I wouldn't expect myself to be anywhere else except here.
I imagine after work we've partake in a few festivities and enjoy St. Patty's Day.
Owner Melanie Womble explains they're keeping things safe, though, requiring masks be worn when customers come in and go to the bar, and keeping tables spread out for social distancing.
And just kind of lower key. Usually we kind of do it up real big. I usually start planning about 6 months in advance, but 6 months ago we didn't know what exactly was going to be happening.
And last year, in 2020 style, the celebration was even smaller, with a reserved atmosphere and smaller crowd caused by the beginning of the pandemic. The day after, the pub shut down, quickly followed by state and local stay-at-home orders.
We lost a lot of food, and there was a lot of beer wasted, and a lot of beer wasted. But and I mean, we were closed for 2.5 months.
Everybody's really taking a beating, so I'm hoping that we can overcome this and start being a big happy community again.
And seeing customers enjoy drinks and each other's company makes Womble feel like we're starting to get back to that.
It just feels so much more normal than it has felt in over a year. So it just really, it's kind of nice just trying to get back into the swing of things, not too much all at once, but yeah, just kind of slowly getting things back up to what they were.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
The owner of Blackthorn wants to remind everyone to stay safe, call a cab or any ride for that matter if they decide to partake in the celebration. Corned beef, cabbage is on the menu at many homes and restaurants today. Also, some of this, some Irish folk music at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall.
It's always enjoyable to get up and play music. The people that I play with are, very good musicians as opposed to myself. But they make the music, and I'm sort of the roadie and the front guy that talks too much. But we love interacting with people and talking with people.
Good for you guys. Local musicians helped spread some good luck today. Freeman Health System's MRI service is now operating in Pittsburgh to fill a void from rural hospitals closing. It's a mobile MRI open 2 days a week on North Pine Street. Freeman workers say there's already been a big demand.
We have already performed over 100 MRI procedures since our soft opening in January, but we are ready to go full steam now.
Freeman says they've already received 14 referrals from area physicians for this mobile MRI service. Take a look at this video from not too long ago. Once we go inside, you're going to see people without masks on. This was, of course, before the pandemic. Many senior citizens have not had a place to go for senior centers because they've been closed for more than a year because of this pandemic. But starting May 3rd, they're going to be back open. The 7 senior center locations slated to open include Barton County, Carthage, Webb City, CJ, Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, and McDonald County. Could take years for the travel industry to come back from the devastating effects caused by the coronavirus pandemic, but recent travel trends indicate that travel is starting to make a comeback. Fox Business Network's Lydia Hu reports now from Newark International Airport.
There are signs that confidence in travel is returning. For the past 6 days, more than 1 million people have been counted by the TSA as passing through a checkpoint, and more than half of Americans surveyed by the AAA say they will travel at some point over the next 3 months. Now, brand new out today is information from Airbnb that shows where those people might be headed. Take a look at this. These are the most searched for destinations through August from Airbnb. The company says travelers are craving outdoor experiences with space to spread out. Places like Southern Maine, Cape May, New Jersey, Round Top, Texas are topping the list. People also want unique places to lodge that offer a lot of privacy, like this cottage that looks like an old country church in Round Top, Texas, or this cozy cabin in the trees. In fact, cabins are the #1 most desired destination for travelers this year, according to Airbnb. We talked to some travelers here at Newark Liberty International Airport about their travel plans. It seems many are traveling for fun. Listen to this.
We have to live our life and we can't be afraid of things. We're going to be cautious and careful, but we're going to also continue having these life experiences that we need to have.
While air travel does seem to be trending up in the most recent days, experts say it could be until 2025 before the travel industry makes a full recovery. At Newark Liberty International Airport, Lydia Hu, Fox News.
All right, a bit later, even newer guidance than the guidance you probably heard yesterday regarding the coronavirus.
A new study makes bold claims about how far apart we should be social distancing. I'm Marianne Rafferty with more on how 3 feet could be enough to keep you safe. Coming up.
It's definitely been a wild day for us today. Round of showers and thunderstorms, some severe weather during the morning hours, and then we did it again late this afternoon, especially in southwestern parts of Missouri. But a great time lapse. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Look at the temps. If you haven't been outside, it's cold. It's 38. Yates Center, everybody else is sitting mainly into the lower 40s. We have these northerly winds now behind our front. You can see the front pushing through, and the winds have been picking up and will continue to stay that way as we go through the overnight hours tonight. All right, we had the first batch during the morning, cleared out just a bit. Then look at the second batch explode on us throughout the afternoon into the evening hours, especially along and south of the Interstate 44. And we had all these storm reports, even a couple tornado warnings in eastern parts of Berry County. But look at all these hail reports. Some areas, the ground was covered with very small pea-sized hail. And these are pretty potent storms, especially for the month of March. But you can see, especially in southwestern Missouri, all of the hail and wind reports. All right, all the heavy rain is lifted toward the north, but you can still see a very solidified band of showers and even some thunderstorms, so very heavy amounts of rain. That's why we've had some flooding issues across the region. But what this is going to do as we go through the overnight hours is we'll start to mix with or change over to a little bit of snow. All right, you can still see some heavy pockets of rain on the south side of the city, and then these stretch into Ottawa County, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. We don't have to worry about anything severe from this point on. Then you got this heavy band in our northern counties, but look how the snow is trying to mix in just north of Fort Scott back towards Chanute and Yates Center. That's the trend for us tonight. Is this storm system, you can see it's right on top of us, wraps up and heads off toward the east. So let's go through time. Here's midnight. We're going to start transitioning over to snow, especially southwestern parts of Missouri, because we're right on the backside of the system. So there's this cold core in southwestern parts of Missouri. So really from Joplin east, that's where you have the potential to pick up some accumulations across the region. Here's 6 a.m. still snow, and then actually on the very backside we'll switch back over to rain as temperatures modify just a bit. Then most of this will shift out of here by the time we head into the mid-morning hours. But snowfall, we'll see, most areas are going to be 1 inch or less, because you have to remember it's above freezing. Most of this is going to melt on contact, but it's going to come down pretty hard, so it has the chance to accumulate on the grassy surfaces, and if it does even come down hard enough, some on the roads. But most of us are 1 inch or less. But once you get into southwestern Missouri, there's a potential that some areas are going to get 3, maybe even 4 inches on the grass, which is kind of crazy, and some slushy spots as well. Again, this is going to be a rain-snow kind of mix, but the snow, it's going to be very fat flakes, and it's going to come down at a pretty good clip. I don't think it's going to be a huge issue on the roads, but don't be surprised if you wake up tomorrow morning and it's white.
You know, I already put the shovel away too, Doug, Hetty.
Mine's still on the front porch. I don't think you'd have to use it. Just let it sit for 2 hours and it'll make
Right. So just pretend it's not there. All right, Doug, thank you. Hey, coming up in sports, the former Nevada Tiger earning his chance to play in the NCAA tournament. Plus, the former offensive coordinator for Carthage High School is returning to his hometown to be a head coach. Danny Terzer has those details next.
John Brown, the former Pittsburgh State wide receiver, is entering a new chapter in his NFL career. John Brown is joining the Las Vegas Raiders on a one-year deal. Brown spent the last 2 seasons with the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. His best year as a pro was in Buffalo in 2019, when he had 1,060 yards and 6 touchdowns. The Raiders will be Brown's 4th team in the NFL. Former Nevada High School basketball player Clay Gaiman will make a long-term dream come true this weekend, playing in the NCAA tournament. Sports director Jacob Leonard catches up with the former Tiger as he prepares for his shot at the big dance.
Former Nevada standout Clay Gaiman is about to get his chance to shine on the national stage.
Kid from the middle of nowhere starting to try to make a name for himself, so that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Gaiman is a junior at Division I Abilene Christian. He and the Wildcats will play in the NCAA tournament on Saturday, facing Texas in the first round.
I always dreamed about playing in this kind of tournament since I was 12 years old, so knowing that I'll get a chance to put my name in the record books is something I've always dreamed about.
It's super cool. Our community's excited. His teammates, his former teammates, everybody will be tuning into that.
Gaiman was a 2-time All-State selection for Nevada High School and left as the program's all-time leading scorer.
Clay's not one of those kids that just expects things to be handed to him or expects good things to just happen. He knows that rent's due, and he's put that in, and he's paid his dues over the years and continues to do that. It's evident in the progression of his game.
The former Tiger is averaging 8 points and 3 rebounds per game for ACU this year. And while he's excited for the opportunity to be in the big dance, he won't be happy with just showing up on Saturday.
We're here to win games. We're not here to just vacation for a couple of days. We're here to win ball games. We're here to make a name for ourselves. So that's exactly what we plan on doing, and that's what drives us. We want to win. We want to keep going as far as we can.
Abilene Christian is the number 14 seed in the East Regional. The Wildcats face 3rd-seeded Texas at 8:50 on Saturday night. The Seneca Indians have a new leader of their football program. The school approved former Carthage offensive coordinator Cody Hilburn to be head coach on Tuesday night. Hilburn spent the last 10 years as an assistant at Carthage High School. He helped the Tigers win the Class 5 state championship in 2019, their first state title in program history. Hilburn is returning to his alma mater. He says he's excited to come home and to get to work.
I told the kids today, the expectation is to win. I don't want it to be a transition period. We owe that to our seniors to show up day one with the intention of winning every time we step out there. But the other thing we're really going to preach is getting 1% better every day. 1% better in the weight room, 1% better at practice, and 1% better in their daily life, just becoming better people.
Hilburn takes over for Ryan McFarland at Seneca High School. McFarland accepted an assistant coaching position at Webb City earlier this offseason. We'll be back with more news after this.
Will lowering social distancing requirements keep people safe? Well, a new study says yes, as supporters of the new idea hope this is going to help get more kids back into schools. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty has more, though, on why critics are cautioning against this move.
A new study suggests a new policy for social distancing. Researchers with the Infectious Diseases Society of America say as long as people are wearing face masks, staying just 3 feet apart is just as safe as 6 feet. Researchers analyzed COVID-19 infection rates among several schools in Massachusetts and found no major differences between schools that required 3 feet of social distancing versus the standard 6. The results are creating some optimism.
I think we should trust and follow the results of the research.
Others note social distancing is only one part of controlling the spread.
We need rigid implementation of ventilation systems to control infection. We need all school employees to be vaccinated.
This study comes as the Biden administration is calling on states to get kids back into classrooms. By letting students sit closer together, in theory, more students will be allowed to return to in-person learning. But it might not be that simple.
You're going to increase the number of people in those confined spaces. Therefore, you will increase the risk.
Teachers across the country are doing their part by lining up for vaccines. What they say is the key to getting life back to normal.
I think it gives us some optimism that next year is going to be something reminiscent of before all this started.
Officials at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are examining the new study's claims, as some schools in Illinois and Indiana are already implementing the 3 feet rule. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
When we come back, let's check out a new 4-hour-long movie premiering on HBO Max. Justice League fans have been waiting for years, and it's finally here. The much longer version of the 2017 superhero movie with an additional 2 hours of deleted scenes. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin spoke with director Zack Snyder about the so-called Snyder Cut.
Zack Snyder finally launches his original vision of Justice League.
It's been a super cathartic journey for us getting this movie out.
The filmmaker and his wife, Deborah Snyder, who is also the film's producer, stepped away from the project back in 2017 to deal with the sudden death of their daughter. Avengers director Joss Whedon stepped in to complete the film, but fans were hugely disappointed with the drastic changes he made.
I think they felt a little cheated that they didn't get to see the version they thought they were getting.
There's an attack coming.
Once fans learned Snyder's original cut existed, they started a massive movement, which ultimately led Snyder to step back into the DC Extended Universe to complete his version of the superhero team-up movie.
Never in cinematic history have I seen a group come together and, rally for this.
This was the finished movie as I imagined it. Of course, I did subsequent cuts for the studio to get it shorter and shorter, but it hasn't changed much at all from that. I need to bring us together.
It follows Wonder Woman and Batman working together to unite a team of superheroes to protect the world from an approaching threat.
Even though we do get time to really examine each of the characters and kind of understand their backstory and what motivates them, there's still plenty of action and plenty of, larger than life things happening in the movie, as well as a really, what I would say, a very sort of well-developed bad guy that you get to understand.
The 4-hour epic journey streams on HBO Max. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of a St. Paddy's Day drone light show in Dublin. Yeah, this is Ireland. This is authentic. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.